Family, the track we're about to interact with right now was brought to my attention via a donation from one of our subscribers. Now, if you want to recommend a song, the link to the PayPal is going to be in the description below because, of course, YouTube yanks 30% of super chats. Guys, I appreciate, as always, your open, curious attention. Back to the video. Family, yesterday at Wisdom School at the Hilliard Library, we were talking about the wisdom of plants, right? So what wisdom, what insights can we gain from plant life? And for some of you, it's like, oh, obviously, plants have a lot to teach us. But for others, it's a little bit, counterintuitive that we can learn anything from plants, or that they have, that the life of a plant has anything to teach us. Well, one thing that we figured out is that plants will establish a foundation before they assume elevation. Right? That, their root system will be established deeply before they, start their upward trajectory, into the air where we can all see them. And that's a deep insight for us to pull from plants, is that sometimes we forget to establish a good foundation before we expect to elevate. We want to get to that new position. We want the marriage, the house, whatever your goal is, right? And yet we haven't really established roots. And so that was one of the many insights we got from Wisdom School, investigating the wisdom of plants, things that plants might have to teach us. That was incredible. So, a deeper conversation will be following on the Patreon. For those of you who are patrons, I appreciate it. We're going into Nazareth, a song by Sleep Token. And I can't believe I missed this one. Shout out to the PayPal patron who recommended Nazareth from Sleep Token. We're going to be getting into it. And when I think of Nazareth, it's like, as a religious person, Nazareth means a lot. Nazareth was where Jesus was from. And there was a running joke. It was like, can anything good come from Nazareth? People would say that. It's like, Nazareth is where poor people are from. Why would the Messiah be from there? As I say, without any further ado, let's let Sleep Token cook. Please cook, sir. What are you talking about here?
And I'll see you when the wrath comes, knocking on your bedroom door with money, building your kingdom, dripping from the open mouth. I'll show you what you look like from the inside.
Yo. This one is darker than before. What is he talking about? He said, I'll see you when the wrath comes.
And I'll see you when the wrath comes, knocking on your bedroom door with money.
Knocking on your bedroom door with money. That seems like some kind of addict. Somebody who's knocking. It's like, look, this is a transactionary thing. I'm willing to, give you something trivial, to take from you something, who knows? Sometimes I wonder, when it comes to things like this, whether we're dealing with vessel or sleep, which one is doing the communicating and which one is doing the listening. I'll see you when the wrath comes.
Knocking on your bedroom door with money, building your kingdom, dripping from the open mouth. I'll show you what you look like from the inside. And I'll see you when the wrath comes around.
I'll show you what you look like from the inside is, that's violent, right? Your insides are supposed to stay inside. Guys, vessel is, this is, yikes. I'll show you what you look like from the inside is like, what are you going to see? Your own blood, your organs, your blood vessels. Guys, hear me out and interact with me for a second here. Because when I just said blood vessels, right? Vessels are something that's on the inside. And of course they're a vessel for blood. So um I don't know. I've always thought of vessel from Sleep Token as like, I am the vessel through which the music comes that we send in the form of worship to sleep, right? That's the surface rendering, but vessels are also something which kind of carry blood. They carry something important from one location to another. Which I guess that that might be redundant, but just thinking of that in terms of uh, showing you what you look like on the inside.
Slow the gun, make her read the tape in the bathroom mirror. See if she can guess what a hollow point does to a naked body. Let's fuck her up.
Yo, this is like really outwardly no guessing games violent, right? I mean, usually Vessel will hide the violence in in symbols. Usually it's a lot more esoteric, but this one is just like, make her eat the tape in the bathroom mirror, right? I mean, we all think of, the bathroom is a place of privacy and solitude and someone being violated in a mirror so that they can see themselves being, so this is there's a lot of really, really violent tendencies here. And it's making me think of like a jealous kind of rage, right? This isn't something which is just out of the blue. This is something which is a response, right? This is a response to a withdrawal. And of course, Vessel has this trajectory in him. We've heard it in a lot of different songs. If Vessel doesn't get what he wants, he'll start with a kind of gentle pleading and a gentle kind of wanting, and then it becomes kind of an ache where he's like, it becomes like, this sad, puppy dog thing. But then he does not hesitate to turn that into aggression. These lyrics might be the most aggressive I've heard from Sleep Token so far. Let me know what you guys think.
Naked body, let's fuck her up.
Damn.
Manifest pain at the core of pleasure. I'll see you when the wrath comes around.
Manifesting pain at the core of pleasure. This is something that Alan Watts talks about sometimes, where he says the face you make during orgasm is the same face you make when you stub your toe on something. It's just like a wincing. It's a face you don't want to look at yourself making because it exposes that you've lost and surrendered control. Right? Manifest pain at the core of pleasure. Letting the thing that's giving you pleasure know that there's going to be a fight if it tries to leave. All right? This is a part of Vessel that we see sometimes. And it gives all the more reason to believe that Vessel and Sleep are two parts of the exact same coin. Let me know if you agree with me there or not, and why not. Family, hear me out. He plays with that tonight, right? I think Sleep Token knows what they're doing when they do stuff like that. Like, how many love songs have the word tonight, right? Waiting for tonight. Oh, what's another one? Dreaming in my- why would I go to J-Lo? J-Lo can't sing. Hang on. What about what other songs have the word tonight in it, right? Uh, you know, tonight, tonight, da, 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 tonight, right? There's so many that would just immediately come to mind if I sat and thought about it, right? And they're just love songs about tonight, about being in the moment, right? And Vessel just loves to take that word that's so redundant in love songs and just make it something dangerous. Guys, it's crazy that this is one of the early Sleep Token songs. Because it seems like they only, like, I don't know, did they put this song out and someone say, hey guys, like, come on. Let's at least, make some of the violence a little bit more poetic here. Family, he said, tonight you'll have the answer. That was in that long tonight you'll have the answer, right? But he didn't tell us what the question was. What's the question that she'll have the answer to? But I think that the absence of the presence of the question is kind of the point. Guys, a lot of times when we have a question, it's because we've imagined some kind of open future. But if someone has imprisoned you, has locked you in a cage, right? A cage that he refers to in this song as the kingdom. I'm going to build you a kingdom, right? I'm going to put you in this box of mine, right? Tonight, you'll have the answer. Maybe that's the reason the question isn't presented, is because all questions are answered within this box that I've made for you. If you can't get out of it, what is there, what left is there to think about or to guess about? Yeah, I have more questions than I have answers at this point.